When I was a child studying maps of the New York area, I was always curious of what's in the Rockaways. Back in 2015, I have taken that chance and finally went out there and found it fascinating. Then, I just explored the surface of what the Rockaways had to offer. Now, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper. New York, the Big Apple. It has been my home for all of my life, filled with a rich history. In this series, we'll explore some of that history, presenting Reflections of New York. The Rockaways is a peninsula in the southern area of Queens, stretching from Far Rockaway at the north end to Breezy Point at the southern tip, with the Atlantic Ocean spanning the entire area, an ideal spot for surfers and beachgoers. The peninsula also features smaller neighborhoods in between, but we're going to explore the Rockaways as a whole. First of all, Rockaway, or originally Rekawake, forgive me if I pronounce that wrong, was a word derived from the original occupants known as the Canarsie Native Americans, meaning the place of our own people. During 1685, the Canarsie Native Americans sold the land to the English, later establishing the first European settlement in the area in 1690. Throughout the years, between 1690 and through the 19th century, various hotels and resorts came and went, including the Marine Pavilion Hotel and Resort in 1833, known as one of the most luxurious in the country at the time, also the most expensive, costing about $43,000 to construct. On a positive note, it was the first to make the Rockaways a summer destination for many until it burned down in 1864. However, the spirit of the vacation and recreation destination wasn't diminished. 4 years later, thanks to the birth of the Long Island Railroad, as well as the Rockaway Beach Railroad opening, the resort boom was revived and improved, giving access to additional New Yorkers of the time period. Another popular hotel was born around 1879. The later ill-fated Rockaway Beach Hotel, the largest for the period, stretched from Beach 116th to Beach 112th Streets, accommodating approximately 7,600 guests at a price tag of $1.5 million to construct. Due to possible design errors, only one wing of the hotel was open, and only for a month during 1881. Finally, the hotel was completely demolished in 1884. During the 20th century, the Rockaways became the rivals to Coney Island as a summer destination. In 1901, their own steeplechase stretched from Beach 59th to Beach 74th Street. Known as the Rockaways Playland, the complex was equipped with its own boardwalk and amusements very similar to Coney Island. New Yorkers enjoyed the amusement park for about 80 years until it was shut down in favor of development. Throughout the years, the Rockaways had its shares of ups and downs like any other place in the New York area. One key moment was back in October of 2012 with Superstorm Sandy. Being on the Atlantic Ocean, the Rockaways suffered heavy damage to homes and local businesses, in addition to beach erosion and other structural damage. Through the years since, New Yorkers, not just Rockaway natives, all banded together to bring the peninsula and other areas affected by the storm back to a livable state. I say livable because changes still need to be made to make the affected areas safer to live. However, life in the Rockaways still goes on. With the arrival of World War I, Fort Tilden was established in 1917 to be used as a U.S. Coast Artillery base. Named after former Governor Samuel Tilden, the base was constructed to protect the New York harbor during the wars along with Forts Wadsworth and Hancock. The base was in use during World War I as well as World War II. After the war, it was used as housing until 1951. When the Cold War began to escalate, it became the home of the 69th Anti-Aircraft Artillery. The anti-aircraft guns were later phased out in favor of the new Nike missile system up until 1974. The base was transferred to the National Park Service, where even today it serves as a national park. Fort Tilden not only functioned during war, it was also the starting point for the first transatlantic flight before Charles Lindbergh's attempt. 6 Navy and Coast Guard servicemen in an NC-4 accomplished it during 1919, 8 years before the famous flight. They departed from the Rockaways 100 years of the production of this video. It wasn't a non-stop flight. The crew stopped in various places along the way for maintenance and refueling. The venture took around 3 weeks. A newsworthy event at the time, however, lost to time and overshadowed by Charles Lindbergh's and Amelia Earhart's flights. Personally, I'm intrigued by this and might just work on a standalone video on this point in history at a later date, so keep your eyes out for it. A historical district I didn't know about at all until I started my research for this video. The Rockaway Beach bungalows have been around since 1921. The reason for the uniformity was due to the architecture of the time, all using local materials such as locust trees and cedar shingles. They were used as working-class, small-scale vacation homes for seasonal residents of the time. After the end of World War II, a large group of these bungalows was demolished by the city in favor of various urban renewal plans, which failed. The scars still remain to this day. Other bungalows later fell victim to crime, arson, and abandonment. All would have probably been demolished if it was not for the efforts of Richard George, a native of the area who fought the city and developers to help preserve this area. Eventually, the remaining bungalows were added to the National Register of Historic Places on the 17th of July, 2013. Prior to September 11th, this area on Beach 117th and Beach Channel Drive was an empty lot. It provided a fantastic view of the towers until the day of the attack. Completed in 2005, this area still provides a fantastic view of the skyline, but also pays tribute to the souls lost. It also includes a granite stone engraved with the names of the firefighters lost that day. When I first visited the Rockaways several years ago, it was just for fun and curiosity. While working on this video, I definitely learned more about the peninsula than ever. As a photographer, I'm still going to visit. It may be a long way from where I live, but it's worth it for the history and the scenic views.